Have you ever noticed how traffic can make perfectly reasonable people completely irrational? You can spend an entire day being patient, polite, and understanding. Then somebody cuts in front of you on the motorway, and suddenly you're delivering a speech that would get you banned from most public places. What's strange is that nothing particularly dramatic has happened. Nobody stole your wallet, nobody punched you. In most cases, someone simply changed lanes a little too close to your car. And yet, the emotional reaction can feel enormous. So why does traffic affect us so much? Most people think they already know the answer. Other drivers are selfish. They're careless. They're idiots. Problem solved. But if that were really the cause, then everyone would react the same way to the same situations. And they don't. The exact same traffic jam can leave one person relaxed, another mildly annoyed, and another absolutely furious. So perhaps the traffic itself isn't creating the anger. Perhaps it's revealing something that was already there. Let's look a little closer. Imagine you're driving somewhere important. Maybe you're heading to work, maybe you're meeting friends, maybe you're running late. In your mind, there's a picture of how the next 30 minutes should unfold. The roads should be clear, the lights should cooperate, other drivers should behave sensibly. Everything should move according to plan. Then reality arrives. The traffic slows down, someone cuts across your lane, the lights turn red. And suddenly, there is a gap between what is happening and what you wanted to happen. The gap is where anger often begins. Not because reality is especially terrible, but because reality has refused to follow the script we wrote for it. Think about how often we say things in traffic like, "Come on, what are you doing? This shouldn't be happening." That's the key phrase. This shouldn't be happening. Notice what's hidden inside it. We're arguing with reality. We're telling life that it should be different from how it currently is. And for a few moments, we become completely convinced that our argument is valid. But reality never listens. The traffic remains, the red light remains, the slow driver remains. The only thing that changes is that we've added frustration on top of the situation. It's a bit like being caught in the rain and shouting at the clouds. The shouting doesn't make the rain stop. It just makes the experience more unpleasant. Now, this doesn't mean we should become passive. If someone drives dangerously, that's a real problem. If a road is poorly designed, that's worth fixing. But most traffic anger isn't about solving problems. It's about resisting what has already happened. And that's a battle we can never win. Here's another interesting question. Why does it feel so personal? Imagine someone cuts in front of your car. It can feel as though they've done something to you, almost like they've insulted you directly. But in reality, they probably haven't even thought about you at all. They may be distracted, they may be stressed, they may simply be a bad driver. Yet somehow their behavior becomes part of our story. My lane, my space, my journey, my time. And that's when traffic becomes emotional. Because it starts to feel like our personal world is being violated. But if we're honest, most of the time nothing personal has actually happened. A stranger moved a piece of metal from one position on the road to another. That's all. Everything else is the story our minds build around it. Now, there's something even more surprising. Sometimes we secretly believe that anger is helping us. We think anger keeps us alert. We think anger protects us. We think anger proves we're right. but have you ever noticed that anger rarely improves your driving? It narrows your attention. It makes you tense. It keeps the unpleasant experience alive long after the event has passed. 5 minutes later, you're still replaying what happened. 10 minutes later, you're telling someone about it. An hour later, you're imagining what you should have said. Meanwhile, the other driver is probably listening to a podcast and has completely forgotten you exist. So what would happen if, just for a moment, we stopped fighting reality? Not approving of it, not liking it, just allowing it to be what it is. Traffic is here, the light is red, the car in front is slow. That is the current situation. What if we started there? Because something interesting happens when we stop arguing with what is already happening. A lot of the emotional charge disappears. The situation may not change, but our relationship to it changes. And that's where freedom starts to appear. The next time you're stuck in traffic, try a small experiment. Notice the moment irritation begins. Then ask yourself, what exactly am I resisting right now? The traffic? Or the fact that reality isn't matching my expectations? You may discover that most of the suffering isn't coming from the road. It's coming from the mental battle with the road. And once you see that clearly, something relaxes. Not because traffic suddenly becomes enjoyable, but because you're no longer carrying the extra burden of fighting it. Here's another way to think about it. Every traffic jam creates two roads. There's the actual road in front of you, the one with the red lights, the slow-moving cars and the delays. And then there's the road you think you should be driving on. The road where everyone moves at the right speed. The lights turn green at the perfect moment, and nothing gets in your way. Most of the frustration comes from trying to travel both roads at the same time. One exists, the other exists only in the imagination. Yet we spend so much energy wishing the first one would become the second. The strange thing is that traffic can become an unexpected teacher. Every red light, every delay, every slow-moving queue, each one quietly asks the same question. Can you allow this moment to be exactly as it is? Or do you need reality to change before you can be at peace? Most of us spend years waiting for the world to cooperate before we allow ourselves to relax. Traffic reveals how exhausting that strategy really is, because there will always be another delay, another queue, another driver doing something ridiculous. The real opportunity isn't learning how to control traffic. It's learning how to stop handing your peace of mind over to it. And perhaps that's why traffic makes us angry. Not because the road is the problem, but because it exposes something much deeper. Our habit of arguing with reality. And the moment we stop arguing, even briefly, we discover that the peace we were waiting for was already available, even at a red light. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more everyday problems reframed through a different lens.